What's up, YTPC? This is DSG Pipe Smoker with another pipe smoking video. And today, I am doing a review on McClellands Chicago Pipeline Pipe Collectors Club Scottish Woods. This is a Scottish/English blend that was blended by the Chicagoland Pipe Collectors Club in 1990. So if you like this blend, or if you haven't tried it before and you seem intrigued about it after I review it, rest assured that shouldn't be affected by FDA regulations. It is what makes it a Scottish blend is the fact that in addition to having the Latakia and the Orientals that are typically in an English blend, you also have a form of Cavendish. With 965 you have brown Cavendish, and that makes it a Scottish blend. With this one you have stowed Virginias. And this blend comes in a ribbon cut, which I will show you right now. First, let's get a whiff. Oh, that's the wrong jar. Grab Scottish Woods jar. The smokiness is definitely there. It's not super heavy. Well, let me get my head in the right spot. It's not super heavy with the Latakia, but it's definitely present. There's also a heavy woodiness to it. And off in the background there's a sweetness, which is probably the stowed Virginia. I'll just let you guys have a look at that. There's an even ratio between the light and the darker tobaccos. Hopefully you can see that. So, with that being said, it should be noted that this tobacco came very dry, and I did smoke a couple bowls out of it when it came as dry as it did, but when I did that, I found that it smoked very fast, and it smoked kind of harsh. It's kind of a medium-ish body blend. Flavor profile was a little bit down, but that all changed once it got hydrated, and the whole blend just came alive. The burn rate slowed down significantly, so now it's more of an average burn. Full-bodied blend, kind of along the same lines as Nightcap from Dunhill. Thick, chewy smoke. Nice, creamy smoke, too. It gets a little bit harsh on the bottom, but that's really its only flaw in terms of smoking mechanics. Packs fairly well. Takes a little bit to light once it's been hydrated to the right temperatures, but once it is lit, it stays lit very well. Like I said, it's harsh, but there's really no tongue bite, and I didn't really notice anything in terms of nicotine. I consider myself kind of a middleweight when it comes to nicotine, so your mileage may vary, but I didn't notice anything, so you guys probably won't either. As far as chambers go, this is your typical Latakia mixture, be it an English blend, a Scottish blend, Balkan blend. Tends to like your square-ish chambers, like this pot, or some of your wider but relatively shallower bowls, such as a 320. That being said, when I smoked it in a conical bowl, yeah, I'll use this. Like this Bulldog I got, it smoked more like an Oriental blend. The Latakia was there at first, but it quickly faded out, and you couldn't really taste the Latakia very much, if at all, but you got a lot of the complexity from both the Orientals and the stowed Virginias. What's interesting, though, And or do I have that pipe with me? Well, I'll grab this one. In a chamber dimension where it's kind of narrow, but tall, something that you would typically smoke a flake in, like this, what was this again? This David Windsor pipe. In a chamber dimension such as this, what's interesting about the Scottish Woods blend is you don't necessarily taste the Latakia, which is something that I anticipated, but it gave the blend a lot more body and a lot more oomph. So even though you could taste the lighter, sweeter Virginias and the Orientals like you would if you were smoking it in a conical bowl, the Latakia still had a heavier presence in a chamber dimension such as this versus a more conical bowl. I don't know why that is, but it is something of note. With that being said, hold on a second. I'll mess with it later. With that being said, once we move on to the flavor profile, dry, and I only smoked a couple of bowls out of this, but it was fairly consistent with the couple of bowls that I smoked out of this before I decided to hydrate it. It was pretty harsh, not necessarily tongue-bitey harsh, just like, kind of like old Joe Krantz or Haunted Bookshop kind of harsh. Very spicy. The Latakia smokiness was there, but it wasn't nearly as heavy, so it kind of smoked more like a Balkan blend than anything else. And it had kind of a, like I said, a tangy spiciness to it. A little bit of earthiness as well, but I'm glad that I rehydrated it and gave it the chance that I did, because once it was fully hydrated, and, you know, in the chambers that it likes to smoke in, it had a much deeper smokiness, and it had a sweetness pretty much on the draw. On the finish, there was some earthiness, some floral notes too, little bit of tang, virtually no spiciness though. So the spiciness went away once I hydrated the tobacco. And that was true pretty much from, you know, false light to about halfway through. Then the Latakia started to dissipate a little bit. The sweetness was still there, but the smokiness started to dissipate until like the last little bit of the bowl. And in the last little bit of the bowl, it got, like I said, it got harsh. The smokiness was completely gone. Sweetness was gone. The earthiness was there. The tanginess was there, but it was just, it felt kind of rough and, I don't know, not as smooth, I guess is the best way to put it. As for my closing thoughts on this blend, this is an excellent blend. It takes a little bit more to prepare it than, say, 965 or Nightcap, which I think they're going to be on my top 3 list for the standard English blends. But I haven't decided where to put this blend. To me, it has the heavy smokiness that Nightcap has, but it has a little bit more complexity, and it definitely has the sweetness that, say, 965 has. So, I had a lot of hopes for this. I was under the impression that this blend would pretty much blow the two out of the water, because it would be the best of both worlds all in one bowl. But because it gets harsh on the bottom of the bowl right before I tend to stop, and because there's a little bit more prep work involved, that kind of dings it a little bit. But stay tuned for later in this month when I go over my top 3 tobaccos for each genre. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review. This has been DSG Pipe Smoker with another pipe smoking video. You guys have a good day.